Welcome back, Truth Seeker. Real quick live stream before we do the big one on Patreon. If you want to join us, the link is in the description. But year after year, we're here showing how it all comes down to numbers. From college football to the Super Bowl, it's all rigged and it's all scripted. And I don't know how the fans don't see it year after year, especially after what we've been revealing for more than a decade. But once again, Washington having a shot at a championship. Their only championship to date was beating Michigan 32 years ago. That was the 91-92 season. Look at the very obvious number script with this championship. The University of Michigan is 206 years old, established August 26, 1817, meaning it turned 206 years old in 2023. This coming August, when Washington joins the Big Ten that Michigan's in. I mean, think about that too, that Washington and Michigan are playing right before the Pac-12's dissolved and the two best teams from it go to the Big Ten. But anyway, if you didn't know that, Washington Huskies and the Oregon Ducks will be in the same division as Michigan next year. Remember, the Pac-12 had like their best start ever this year, the year they're getting dissolved, all part of the big joke, the big script. But notice, Michigan is 206 years old, and they're playing the team from Seattle, the Washington Huskies, and Seattle's area code is the 206. And not only that, the last time and the only time Washington won the championship, they beat Michigan in the Rose Bowl. Well, of course, Michigan just beat Alabama in the Rose Bowl, and what an ending to that game with the quarterback, who's not a real quarterback and is just another running back, just running for no reason into a pack of Michigan players when the sides of the field were open. I mean, the script couldn't have been any more obvious. You just wonder how much money these guys get under the table. But anyhow, it was the Rose Bowl that Michigan just beat Alabama, and would you guess how many wins Nick Saban stayed on with Alabama? I'll give you one guess and 2.06 more seconds to think about it. Of course, Nick Saban stayed on 206 wins. And why was Nick Saban and Alabama in the championship anyway? What about undefeated Florida State, Deion Sanders, old school? After a whole college football season of the ad with Nick Saban and Deion Sanders, Florida State gets snubbed and the same old Alabama team gets plugged in there again. And then how was that Alabama-Michigan game? Didn't it repeat history from exactly 24 years to the day earlier? Where Tom Brady with Michigan beat Alabama in overtime exactly 24 years to the day on the first day of 24. And here's the one other thing I want to talk about with Michigan's upset of Alabama. Let's just do this in real time. Tom Brady, date of birth. I want you to see that he's 46 years old. Very special number to Michigan. There's a reason Harbaugh's on 46 losses. Now it fits in with the championship being in Houston, Texas, where Tom Brady had the 25-point comeback against the Falcons 7 years ago. The man who finished with 7 Super Bowls. Funny enough, Harbaugh comes into tonight's game with 25 losses with Michigan, but 46 total losses. But check this out. From Brady's birthday, August 3rd, 2023, the day he turned 36, to the championship, the college football playoff where they beat Alabama to make it to the championship on New Year's Day. Notice that was Brady's 152nd day of his age. And if you're new here, Gematria, just like what we were talking about, where Michigan Wolverines equates to 206, you get that value by just taking the alphabetic order. A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, up to Z, the 26, there's 26. That's the most simple cipher, known as Simple English Gematria. The next cipher is the alphabetic order with numerology, and then the other two ciphers are just running the alphabetic order in reverse and running the alphabetic order in reverse numerology. I want you to look at the values of Michigan. Michigan equals 46 and 152. You might recall during the 152nd college football season, this was a big number with Michigan's season. Madonna, who went to Michigan, the young woman who portrayed her in a film, died on her 152nd day of her age. Anyhow, all these numbers right here get used in Michigan rituals. Case in point, Michigan State had the mass shooting on the 44th day of the year. Alabama. Here, let me show you something on College Football Reference about another thing about Alabama. Oh, that's NFL reference. 1 second. College football reference. Alabama. Check this out. Alabama. You see how their record, you see how they got their 311th loss to Alabama? Or not to Alabama, to Michigan? 311 is the 64th prime number. Numbers that can only be divided by one in themselves. 311 is the 64th prime. So they just picked up that 311th loss versus Michigan. Harbaugh stayed on 46 losses, synced with Brady being 46. Brady's 152nd day of his age. Of course, Michigan pretty much won the game when they ran in the 46th points in overtime. It went to overtime 2020, just like how Brady went to overtime and beat the Falcons in NRG Stadium with the 25-point comeback. And with regards to the 44, look at the Gematria overtime. You might recall when the Michigan State survivor was at the James Harden game. James Harden sent that game to overtime and had about 5,044 rituals in the game. Again, notice how overtime's also 46, 44, 46 like Michigan. So these are the 4 base ciphers. You learn this code. You see how it's rigged from college to the pro, how they pay tribute to history. And again, it's nothing but a numbers game. You know, they should be teaching this at every university. This knowledge is applicable every single day. You can see how rigged your country is, from the sports games to the rigged elections to the contrived news. Again, they do almost teach us this in kindergarten when nearly every classroom has up around the border of the top of the wall, ABC 1, 2, 3. But yeah, you learn this little simple code and you'll be looking at this just week after week for the rest of your life, seeing the way the rig came in. But again, go figure. Michigan, 206 years old, holds Saban to 206 wins with Alabama, and now faces the 206 area code. And notice, this year the championship was on New Year's Day, which equals 140, or not the championship, but the college football playoff was on New Year's Day to set the championship. New Year's Day, 140, Washington, 140. Both teams became 14-0 and now face each other in the 206 tribute. So yeah, you guys want one more little thing about Michigan. Oh, actually, you see how Washington's 49? We really liked Washington to beat Texas because both coaches were 49. Steve Sarkisian, who now coaches Texas, started with Washington. Steve Sarkisian picked up his 49th career loss, losing to Washington. And that was the Sugar Bowl, which equals 37. The coach of Washington got his 37th win, and they won with 37 points. But yeah, here, the one other thing I wanted to show you, just about Michigan and 46 and Brady being 46. Again, Harbaugh's on 46 losses right now. In that same cipher, Houston, Texas is 46, and they're facing the team from the 47th parallel, Washington. You know how they had to stop the clock at the end of the Sugar Bowl with 47 seconds with the weird injury that gave Texas a chance to come back. But that 46 was crucial because Alabama had not played in the Rose Bowl in California since 1946. And, you know, it's just like when I told you Joe Biden would be number 46 a year before it happened because the election was 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday. Of course, Harbaugh's a good Catholic. He met the Pope. You see how Catholic's 71 and 145? You might recall right after Harbaugh met the Pope, his tight end for Michigan, Jake Butt, the tight end, Catholic Church who likes to abuse the butts of boys. You might recall Jake Butt fell to the 145th pick of the draft, and then he went to the Denver Broncos. You see how Catholic's also 71, like Denver Broncos. Again, it goes with the Catholic Church being responsible for the establishment of Israel, the Jewish nation, on 14/5, when there's 145 more chapters in the Catholic Old Testament. And it goes with why the war popped off this year on Putin's 71st birthday, 71 days before the Pope's. Anyway, it's bigger than football is the point I'm making. And again, you learn this knowledge, you see what's really going on in the world. Catholic Church responsible for the calendar, the English language as we know it, synced up the system of gematria in the calendar in the 16th century, the century of the Jesuits. And again, every year, perfect little number ritual. You might recall when Brady had the 25-point comeback, that was the only Super Bowl that the Pope has blessed. In all the years Pope Francis has been Pope, go back and look. There's only one year he blessed the Super Bowl. Of course, Tom Brady's met the Pope as well, just like Harbaugh, the two good Michigan products. But a 25-point comeback after the Pope's blessing, and of course that was over the 25 team, the Falcons, on the date 2/5 in the 97th NFL season, where 97 is the 25th prime. And, the 97 pieces, Roman Catholicism's 97. But a 25-point comeback. You might recall Trump had just become president, and the night before he became president, he was on TV for 20 minutes, and he spent 10 of those 20 minutes talking about what great friends he was with Bill Belichick and Tom Brady, and he was really pulling for the Patriots that year. And then, of course, the 25-point comeback while Trump's cheering, and then next thing you know, Jesuit Trump's at, the Vatican by the numbers with the Pope shortly after the Super Bowl. But, Biden's a good Catholic, too, with the 25 connection. Anyway, go figure that all these years later, we've been talking about Brady and the Harbaugh connection for a long time. Harbaugh's now in the same stadium on 25 losses with Michigan. Just the nonstop parallels. So we'll leave it there for now. If you want to join us, live stream starts on Patreon in a little more than a half hour, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 Eastern. If you can't watch it live, you can watch it anytime after. We'll be going for a while because we're talking NBA, college football playoff, and see if we can pull out another winner. If you missed us this weekend, you missed the wrong weekend to miss. Dominated the NFL, scorched the NBA, lots of big upsets. And how about those Eagles? Eagles and Giants. Eagles fell to 11-6. Giants became 6-11. Remember what day the freeway collapsed in Philly? June 11th. And we were showing back then how it was synced with the NFL season and the Super Bowl. Just like how when the freeway collapsed in Atlanta after their 25-point collapse, we were showing how that was all synced up. Again, people might think this stuff's crazy, but it's not. This is the world we're living in, and this is what these psychopaths in the cabal do. They'll take down your freeway for ritual. Take a little tax money, hand it out to their buddies to rebuild it, use your dime to make their friends richer, cause a needless headache for everyone in the city who got stuck in the massive traffic jam. It's what they do, and that's why we had a good read on the Giants upsetting the Eagles. 6-11, 11-6, same thing we were talking about all year. So you can keep doubting, we'll just keep winning. Till next time, True Seeker.